All right, everyone, we are live. Welcome to the Basement Radio Arcade Podcast. I'm Enrique, aka the Aries Gamer, and hey, I'm excited. I have a nice guest panel, an all-star cast. I have Eric returning, Mamacita returning from last week, and I have a special guest, WorryWart. So, thank you guys for joining me tonight as we talk everything related to video games, and we'll try to keep this podcast under 2 hours. I know last time was like 2 hours and some change, and that probably had to do with Apple Pie Jones.
It had a lot to do with Apple Pie Jones, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Worry, I don't know. Have you seen Apple Pie Jones yet, Worry?
I have not.
Yes,
Fill me in.
It's a VR game with how do I describe it? Sticks that shoot out apple pie stuff. Am I describing this right?
Pretty much. You're pretty close to that.
It really sounds like they're pushing the VR technology to the fullest, doesn't it? Sticks with apple pies.
Yeah, it was kind of shiny, glittery apple pie stuff.
I can't wait. I can't wait for VR now.
Yeah.
Lots of particle effects.
Yeah, insane particle effects, and yeah. The name alone is what sold me. I'm like, all right.
That's really cool. So it's a toss-up for me between that and I Am Bread in VR.
Yes. Or my favorite game, the zombie taxi cab game.
Yeah, that's going to be a million seller.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Game of the year.
Mark my words.
Oh my gosh! We talked about it last week. What if it's game of the year? We're all, at least I'll shut up about it. I won't talk about it anymore. So.
Exactly. I said it. You never know.
Hey, it could be a good game, right? It could be good.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, we could have lots of fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So, well, guys, thanks again for joining me, and I definitely appreciate having you guys on tonight. So we're going to talk about Nintendo, which is, I feel like something like, I don't know, I never really talk about Nintendo that much. They're not in the news a whole lot, except more recently with the announcement of the Nintendo NX console, which I believe the development kits have gone out to developers already. So they have those in their hands, and hopefully we're getting some, they're working on some great content for us. But guys, I have a very fond memory of Nintendo. My Nintendo days go back to the mid-'80s. I think, Eric, I know you and I talked last week about, our experience gaming. Where I know you've been gaming for a long time. Where I think you go back to the Atari days. Is that?
I go back to when we used to pick up dinosaur poop and throw it at each other.
Oh my gosh!
It was a lot of fun. I don't know the resolution though. I think it was 720p or.
That was the start of multiplayer.
Like yeah, exactly.
Wait, so why don't you like art then, Worry?
It's just not for me. I tried it. I just can't stand the game. Can't stand it.
You can't stand it?
No.
That's actually
just
one of the games that's
for me.
VR.
Yeah. I'll pass on that.
So, Worry, you remember the Atari?
Yeah, absolutely.
Do you remember ColecoVision?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I had the Odyssey. That was before the Atari, and then I had a Commodore 64 and the Texas Instrument TRS-180, and then the Atari, the 2600, 5200, Coleco and television. I also had a TurboGrafx 16. I had everything.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Wow.
We had a ColecoVision.
Oh, I loved it.
And our neighbors down the street, they had Intellivision, and we would go back and forth and play. I remember the games Mousetrap and Burger Time, and we would play.
The worst controller on the Intellivision, wasn't it? It was just like a circle.
Yeah, I remember that. Oh my gosh, I remember
It was
that.
a circle.
And a calculator pad. Yeah.
The calculator pad was terrible.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yep. But I used to play a game called Advanced Dungeons and Dragons on that Intellivision system, and it was an amazing game. I mean, still to this day, it's like almost like the translation of the pen and paper D&D into a video game. That was sort of like the first time that happened, and it was just such a great game. But let's get back to Nintendo.
Yeah. So many of us here are kind of old school gamers and remember Nintendo when Nintendo was it. I mean, Nintendo was the market leader for a long time, and I mean, we could credit Nintendo for kind of resurrecting the console industry after what I like to call the ET effect, if you guys remember.
Oh yeah.
And so, you guys, I don't know, Mamacita, if you're familiar with the ET effect or that game and the crash of the great crash of the video game industry. I think that was, 1983?
Yeah.
got my dates right?
Yeah.
I don't remember the date.
Yeah. So, oh, hey guys,
1983. You're an old fucker.
and we have another guest, Southbound 110. Yes, South. I'm old.
The Southbound World Tour continues.
Yeah,
I might be a little loud. You might have to fuck with my levels.
Yeah.
Hey, South. Worry would not give us
Yeah,
an introduction.
pardon my potty mouth.
Go ahead.
Why not?
Well, yeah. I don't know. You have to ask him.
Trying to be nice. You know.
Come on, Worry. Flex the muscles a little bit, brother.
I'm a little nervous with Mama being here. You know.
Oh, don't be nervous with Mama being here. Why would you be
Oh,
nervous?
come on.
That's so nice.
I got chills.
That was very motherly. Like I want some more milk.
I don't know if I like where this is going.
Okay.
So
What?
anyway, Nintendo.
It's alright. I still suck my thumb. It's okay.
Oh my God.
Back in 1983.
All right,
Yeah.
so 1983, guys, the crash of the video game industry, and the video game industry pretty much just died for a little bit, and then here comes Nintendo, the saving grace of the industry, and they released the Nintendo Entertainment System, and they released it with Rob the Robot. Do you guys remember Rob the Robot?
Absolutely. He
Definitely.
balanced those spinning things.
Yeah, what were
I
they?
don't know
like?
what that was. I have no idea what that was. I just know it was cool because it was Rob the Robot and there was a light gun.
The light gun was cool with Duck Hunt.
Right.
Yeah, you used to play it with Gyromite.
Yep.
That's what it was. Yep.
Yeah, and then eventually you put Rob to the
my
side.
God!
And you just
I'm
to different
like so
controllers.
out of my element.
But you know what? When that came out and everybody gravitated towards
South
that,
wasn't alive.
I love the Sega Master System.
No, I was alive, but like I was like too busy playing with GI Joes and shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, I played with those. too.
I'm a millennial gamer.
So South, this is the days of wired controllers, if you remember those. But so here comes Nintendo. They released Nintendo Entertainment
What's
System.
that?
Yeah. Here's Nintendo. They released Nintendo Entertainment System.
I'm kidding. I know I'm messing up the flow. I apologize. Fucking asshole.
So here comes Nintendo, and they pretty much saved the console industry, and that Nintendo Entertainment System for me is probably my top three, up there, the top three best gaming consoles ever. Still, if I think about all the franchises that were launched on that game console, Legend of Zelda, we saw Mario Brothers, Metroid, there were and all the great third-party support. Metroid for me, I remember the first Metroid experience I had. I remember beating Mother Brain, and do you guys remember at the end of the game where you had to escape?
She takes the helmet off too at the end, right? Yeah.
Yeah, shake the helmet
And they
off.
just had to have her in a bikini for some reason, right? I don't know.
Oh,
She
go
just got
figure.
done. Right. She just got done saving the universe, and underneath of all that armor, she's wearing a two-piece.
Well, she was hot.
Yeah.
That's right. She was
You know what I mean? She had to cool
Two-piece, yeah.
off.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She had to cool off. So, but I remember beating Mother Brain, and I remember we had to jump out. Yeah, I guess you had to escape. You had to jump on different platforms. I just remember seriously, my hands were shaking. That's how crazy it was. So
It was a timed ending, like a countdown.
yeah, exactly.
Right.
It was like and if you didn't make it, you blew up or something. So
Yeah.
So many great gaming experiences on the Nintendo Entertainment System, and for such a long time, guys. I mean, they were clearly the market leader. I mean, they were it. And then we fast forward to the Super Nintendo Entertainment System, which was still a very successful console. Sega kind of got into the mix, or Sega was a competitor with the Master System, where I know you talked about that earlier, but the Genesis was fairly successful at the time, and a pretty big competitor to the SNES. So, and then after the SNES, there was the N64, and to me, the N64 minus the Nintendo Wii, which I kind of think was, while it was a very successful console, to me that was kind of a lightning in a bottle moment for them. But the N64 comes out, Sony drops a PlayStation, and for me, a defining moment for Nintendo was when they lost Final Fantasy. They lost that franchise.
Well, Sony was in bed with Nintendo to make a CD add-on, and then there was a falling out, and they just sort of said, the hell with you guys, we're going to make a CD-based system called the PlayStation. And Nintendo got
Aren't
called
they glad they did?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
But-
no.
Well,
love the
what a coup for Sony. Jeez.
Yeah.
Yeah, bad business
truly.
decision for Nintendo.
Yeah. And from there, there was almost like it was like a domino effect. It felt like I felt like you saw more third-party support.
Well, yeah,
towards Sony.
they lost the Final Fantasy franchise because they decided that they wanted to stick with cartridge for the N64, and Sony had this brand new CD that could hold more information. You could have all those crazy cutscenes that you saw in Final Fantasy, and that was it.
Yeah. You know, Worry, every time we talk
Oh,
about
you
Final
could have
Fantasy,
those lovely pixelated boobs from Tomb Raider. Warcraft.
Yeah.
you could have those.
Pop,
Wait, was that-
Come on, I'm not the only one that remembers that shower scene. Come on.
Oh,
South, was that your first gaming experience?
Oh God.
The
I don't
one
want-
that it sticks out. I know. You know what? I had it at a Super Nintendo. You know, I wasn't more like Contra games like that weren't my thing. I was a Rad Racer. You know, Excite Bike. That was my thing.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
awesome.
I love Excite Bike. Yeah, it was a great game. That was fun.
I actually downloaded that on the 3DS. They have that in the little retro store.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
That's
don't have it.
Oh, really?
great game.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, for a long time, I had the Rad Racer soundtrack to my ringtones on my phone. I mean, who can forget when you crash? Dun, 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 dun. That was amazing to me. And it still gets my goosebumps.
Oh, yeah.
That sounded like Spy Hunter.
It did sound like Spy
Yeah,
Hunter.
it did. That's
A
what I was saying.
little bit.
And if you guys have that,
Yeah, whatever happened to that franchise?
It died.
It died. Yeah.
It's in the landfill with ET.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
gosh.
did ET
The,
remake?
you have
the
a
Rock
release
came
that
in
video?
and cannibalized it.
What was that?
Didn't they
No,
do a
they-
video on that?
They did.
You
It
mean
was
the
on,
movie? Yeah, they
Larry
came out with a
Heard,
movie.
right?
It just came out a few months ago, right, on Netflix?
I think
Yep.
so.
Yes.
Yep.
It was supposed to be one of the shows that were on the
Yeah,
original
I believe it's on
programming for
Netflix now.
Xbox. When they
Yeah.
were thinking about doing original programming on the Xbox One.
Mhm.
We know what happened with that. So
Oh,
now
yeah.
it's on Netflix.
Bye-bye original programming.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that eventually.
Epic fail.
Yeah, so to me that was kind of Nintendo. That was Nintendo kind of just doing what Nintendo's been doing now, just kind of dancing to their own, marching their own beat of the drum, and
I think they
sticking
still
with
are.
cartridges. Yeah, I mean they still are. And after the N64, we had the GameCube,
Which was a great system. I mean, it
I
really
did
was.
like it. Yeah, I had the
And it was the most powerful system next to the Xbox in that generation.
Was it really?
Yes, it was.
Mm.
It was
Are you
more
being
powerful than the
serious?
PlayStation 2. Yes, I am.
Yeah,
I
it
did
was.
not know that.
Yep.
No,
Oh, wow.
no. Yeah.
Yes, it was. Take a look at Rogue Squadron.
You know what?
The GameCube.
When the GameCube came out, I never got one because I was kind of at the point where I was like in my late teens,
Wait a minute.
early
You don't want
20s.
a purple console with a handle?
And so,
No, they had silver
well,
ones.
yeah, with a dongle, So like, to me, like Nintendo was like a little kid's thing. You know what I mean? So it really didn't interest me.
Yeah, I hear you. And plus,
You're
again,
pretty-
they went with the
Yeah.
they went with the
But then
proprietary disc system.
I missed out. I missed out on 007, and Resident Evil 4. So I missed out on a couple good games.
Yeah.
There was a lot of great games on that system.
GoldenEye,
Yeah.
GoldenEye.
I missed a lot of games on that system because I didn't even have one. I wasn't
Well,
really
GoldenEye was
gaming.
N64, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was N64.
Yeah, that was in 64.
Was it 64? I thought it was GameCube. Yeah, see, I skipped those. That was when I was out running amok, my teens and all that. So
You were playing.
it wasn't until
Recon.
yeah, in real life.
in real life.
So from N64, it went to the
Yeah, they went to the GameCube, and you're right, where they had their own discs. They weren't, DVD discs.
a
They
little
were,
tiny proprietary disc.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, but that console had some great games. It had was The Legend of Zelda. Was it Wind Waker?
Yep, Super
remember
Mario
it terrible.
Sunshine, Pikmin, a lot of good games.
Yeah, a lot of good games. So, that to me, that's actually the last Nintendo. Well, no, that's not true. I had the Wii. So the Wii would be the last one that I owned. But after that, it was kind of like, for me, guys, it was like, after the Wii, I was done, especially after the Wii U. And I actually don't own a Wii U, so I'm not the Wii U expert here. Any of you guys own a Wii U?
Yeah, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Yes, I have one.
All right, so what's the deal with the Wii U? I know
I
it
do
has.
not.
Southbound does not have a Wii U.
Right.
Yeah, so someone's crying out there for me, but it's all right. I'll recover.
He doesn't have a Wii U, but he has the loudest mic in the history of podcasting.
Wait, he's on his phone, man.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. I'm in the black hole of the Appalachian Mountains. Come
Yeah.
on.
South is
Wow.
in moonshine country right now.
Hey,
you
can
go.
you guys hear me okay?
I
You
wish
sound
I had
good.
some moonshine right now.
I can hear you when I don't hear South.
Yeah, I'm just glaring
Okay.
over everybody.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure, but I wanted to ask you guys a
Yep.
question. Did you all see today they were reporting The Legend of Zelda, I believe it was the Temple of Time that was recreated in the Unreal Engine 4?
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
I
someone
Yeah, I saw that.
uploaded it to
I did see
YouTube.
something.
I
Somebody.
did see that. They did it for
Yeah.
Mario too.
Oh,
you
I have to check
did?
that out. Send me the link
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
get a chance.
Yeah, we'll have
Okay.
to send you the link, Worry.
Yeah, I seen it on Facebook today.
Yeah.
Hey, Worry, I was going to say Southbound sounds like Kylo Ren when he's talking a little bit.
Did you see the Saturday Night?
A lot less emo.
Did you see the Saturday Night Live skit where he goes undercover boss?
Yeah.
Yes. Matt?
Yeah. Matt, I want to
Matt.
talk to some folks.
I haven't had my muffin yet, Matt.
Yeah.
You kicked my wrench, you jerk.
Hey, did you guys see Kylo Ren? I heard some guy saw him in the shower and he's ripped.
Oh,
No, that guy, the Kylo Ren's a punk bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was great.
Oh my God. Eric, thank you.
Anyway, sorry.
That was
Back on
good.
track. Back
No
on
problem.
track.
Yes. Back on track. So, all right. So
Wii U, you're talking
Nintendo.
about the Wii U, right?
Yeah, the Wii U. Yeah. So I don't have a Wii U, guys, and
Right.
I know that I thought the Wii U when it first came out was going to be kind of the combo of the handheld, the game console, and I guess it is. I guess you can play with the.
Well,
The-
yeah, the problem is Nintendo thought that the Wii, all the success of the Wii, was actually gamers, and it really wasn't. It was, grandmoms and grandpops, and, it was old age homes playing bowling just to get people out of bed. It was just a fad.
Senior
And-
citizens.
And they actually thought that naming the next console
It was
the same
party
thing.
games.
Right. It was like,
party game.
let's call our next console the Wii
Mhm.
U, so that we can get
Mhm.
those people to come right over. And
Mhm.
everybody was so confused. I remember people thinking that the actual tablet was the console. Remember how strange it was when they announced it and they didn't even show the console, they showed the tablet?
Yeah, that's what I thought it was.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I don't know. It's Nintendo being Nintendo, but who knows?
But would you say that they were looking at the Wii was so successful?
Yeah.
I mean, it was so successful, and them opting to keep the Wii U, the Wii name, I don't necessarily think was such a out
bad
of
thing?
touch, a bad thing. But Wii
They-
U, adding U, if they had called it
Personally-
the Wii U or something,
I just think that they misjudged their
Yeah,
market.
exactly. I would have went with the Wii 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
How about
I
just a
think that
completely different name?
I just think motion control was a fad. It just was.
Well, and then you take
Yeah, and
you take the
it-
fact you combine that with the Wii U though, and I have to say, I don't know if you guys know, I was a motion controller gamer. I mean, no one gamed more motion controller games than I did. I had a Wii, and all the dance games and all the fitness games, that was the purpose of me purchasing it.
Right.
But I have to say, in my opinion, when I purchased the Wii U, I thought that those games that
you had would work.
that I had would work, and or they would be, they would have high definition, it would be 1080p, full HD, the graphics, and then things would be sharper, and there would be more features, and they're more social. I thought that they were going to build off of the Wii and build off those games that captivated me, that made me buy a Wii and my family. But we didn't have that. I mean, there
Yeah,
was
right.
some type of
They didn't do
emulator
any of
where
that. Right.
they didn't,
Yeah,
and we could,
I think that they took for granted. They took for granted what they're, well, we're just going to put this out. They should have waited till, like you said, they had more features and definitely more third-party, support.
Yeah.
Well, I think
That would have helped the Wii U out tremendously.
Well,
What did they have when they introduced it? Remember, they were bringing in third party, support. I can remember somebody came on stage with them.
Yeah, you know what the problem was, though?
They were supposed to,
Well,
but people kind of just dropped that after
Yeah.
say, okay, we're announced this game, and then after they just kind of fell by the wayside.
Well, when they're looking at consoles, when developers are looking at consoles with 4.5 gigs dedicated to just making a video game, and then they're looking at a console that has 1 gig for an OS and 1 gig for games, it's kind of hard to get The Witcher running up with 1 gig of RAM on the Wii U.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
that's
right
why I
there,
said they
right
should
there,
have
you're killing
waited.
yourself. Yeah, you're killing yourself with third-party support by doing that.
Yeah. But that's been their problem. I feel like they've been focusing on making these game consoles that aren't as powerful as the competition. I almost feel like they don't. I don't want to say they don't care, but like they just do their own thing, and I don't think they're really.
I like that. I do like that, but I do think that you have to do. I mean, you could do your own thing, but you have to basically, if you're going to be in a fight, you have to have everything that your competitor has. You could do things differently, but you can't say that your console is different and none of these third-party games can run on it. Right from Jump Street, you can't do that. You have to have what developers want, and then you do your own thing. I mean, imagine the next Nintendo system, whatever it is, or just imagine the Wii U coming out and it's got 8 gigs of RAM like everything else. It has an online service that works. It has a social feature that's passable, and then you have all the third-party support in every single Nintendo first-party title. Who wouldn't buy that?
Oh, I'd buy it in a heartbeat.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean that's to me.
I think it'll be more attractive. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
No,
they have to improve though their online gaming community and the social networking because friending someone on the Wii U was so difficult.
Oh.
It was ridiculously horrible. Yes, it was.
Like friend codes. It was
codes, and it's like I don't want to do that. I don't want to do all that.
You know, I made a joke with somebody. You know how Microsoft said that the Azure service is available to everyone, anybody who wants to use it?
Yep.
You know, Nintendo is so far behind in getting an online network that just feels good or just works or just serviceable that just, you know, it's passable in today's market. That, you know, I made a joke saying that they should just use Azure. Just pay Microsoft, throw Azure servers on there and have an online network.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, why not? Yeah, exactly.
That's a good way to catch up really, really fast.
Exactly.
All the rumors of them using Android OS, I hope they don't.
No, that's not.
No, that was
they debunked that.
I hope they don't.
They said that they're not doing that.
Oh, did they really? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's that would be terrible.
But
I think that was like hot rumor.
I think a problem that happened with Nintendo on the Wii U also is that they kind of read the market wrong, which is something they don't always kind of do. They're usually like the trendsetter.
Right.
But they kind of went with the tablet, kind of saying, well, everyone likes the tablet. The kids like tablets, and they want tablets. But the problem is they couldn't do tablets better than what Apple was doing.
Right.
You know, and for 99 cents, you know, you grab your iPad, grab a game, and hand it to your kid, and you're good to go, as opposed to paying, you know, $60 for a new game, but also not explaining why, you know, you need this. And most parents didn't understand that. They did a piss poor job of explaining the difference between the Wii and the Wii U.
Yeah.
You know.
And the handheld. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, and the handheld that they released with the Wii U, you know, when it was initially announced, you know, you're thinking, okay, well now I can play the games on this handheld, but you had to be within a certain feet of the system for it to work. If you walk outside a certain distance, then it would stop. Then you couldn't play the game anymore.
Right.
So I'm thinking, okay, well, you know, why would you have it that way? That was senseless to me. So kids are going to want to go upstairs. They're upstairs. They're in the bathroom with their iPads. If you wanted to try and break the mold, I mean, increase the ability or the, you know, the space. Or
wait. What are they doing in the bathroom with an iPad?
Okay. Oh my gosh.
Okay,
let's not pretend like we don't go to the bathroom with our iPads.
Okay, all right. Well, hey, I'm just referring to, like, if I was a teenager and if I'm in a bathroom with an iPad, don't even bother knocking.
Hey, Mama, Southbound's having a heart attack right now. He's saying, "Don't say iPad, say Surface."
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Come on, I'm not that much of a bot. Come on.
Yeah.
Hey,
I have an Android phone, for Christ's sake.
I do
have a Surface though.
Worry,
Yeah,
has
I
Southbound
didn't.
abandoned you recently on Xbox Live?
I'm sorry, what?
Has Southbound, has he abandoned you on Xbox Live recently?
Has he abandoned me?
Yeah, like left you to go to another chat room or another party?
Oh, no. You know, no celebrities have come online when I've been talking to the South, so he stays in the party. Yeah.
I haven't
Renegade,
been on
really?
Xbox Live in like 4 weeks. Come on, man, you're killing me.
Hey,
You know what the
Enrique.
problem is, though? Like speaking about trend setting with Nintendo, I don't remember this ever happening where a console maker launched a console in the middle of a generation.
I know.
They're coming out with their next system, 3.5 years into a generation when PlayStation 4 and Xbox One are already out.
Yeah.
So they have to have a system that isn't the same. It has to be better than the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and it has to be able to compete with whatever's coming next gen.
Yeah. So let me ask you guys something then. Rory touched on a great point. Do they have to come out with a game console that is as powerful or more powerful than the PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and do they have to have the same features?
They don't. I mean,
Yeah.
power isn't everything, but in terms of what's going on right now, they absolutely have to have a system that's more powerful. They have to. I mean, I just don't see anybody going out and buying a system that's equal to an Xbox One or a PlayStation 4. You're going to get third-party support that you're getting now, but who's going to switch from PlayStation 4 or Xbox One to play third-party games?
Well, the thing is, they're going to find themselves in the same position because they're coming in the middle,
Exactly.
theoretically, of a console generation, and
Right.
they're going to be underpowered again. So how are you going to get third parties involved at that point?
Right.
And who's going to be the audience?
For one thing, everything has to be backwards compatible
The Wii U stuff.
with their Wii U and the Wii console. Yeah, it definitely has to be backwards compatible.
Mhm.
And they're usually pretty good about that, South. But the thing that they have to also figure out is how to get like a cross-play type scenario working, because how many times are you going to go back and buy like classic Nintendo games, in their eShop?
No, you're exactly right. And I think that was a big thing when the Wii came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, I can go buy all my original Nintendo games," and that was a popular feature because I know a lot of people went nuts over that.
Right.
Yeah.
So now here you are, 5 years later, 6 years later?
Yeah.
Are you expected to do it again?
Yeah.
Exactly. Because think about it, if you have a 3DS and you have a Wii and a Wii U, you've pretty much purchased each one of those games every time you wanted it on a different system. And that's something that they have to figure out. They have to get that.
It's not
across the
hard,
board.
though. I mean, if I could sit here, and I don't work for a video game company, but if I'm sitting here and I'm Nintendo, I'm going to say to myself, how do we come into this market in the middle of a generation and just do well out of the gate? Okay, we make a system that's more powerful than what's available now. We launch with Metroid, first person, made by what was the studio? Was it what was the studio that did was it Retro?
Retro.
That did the Metroid Prime series?
Metroid Prime. Yep.
Okay, so you do something like that again. Metroid, that series, Metroid Prime, that could be their Halo. They could have a multiplayer component in there that's great. They already have a single player component in there that's great. They already have a main protagonist, Samus Aran, that's great. That could be the face of the console.
Right. Oh, and they have a company that did a video that shows them how
it's amazing.
fucking awesome it could look.
Oh, with Jessica Chobot, right?
Oh yeah, I remember where he sent me the Jessica. Oh, she's man.
No, did you see Mama? I'll send you the video.
Yeah, I got a huge crush on her.
I want to see it.
Yeah, it's an actual Metroid movie, and she plays.
No,
Samus.
it's clean. It's completely clean.
Okay.
Oh, I haven't seen that yet. I'll have to check that out.
Oh, it's great.
No pixelated boobs.
No.
No,
But
definitely not.
You launch with that.
I wish. No, it's live action.
So where you're
I told her that when I seen her a couple months ago at the Video Game Awards. I told her how great job she did and how much I loved her and how beautiful she was. It doesn't sound as stalkers. It does right now, but it was actually pretty sweet when I
Aww.
At least I think it sounded better. Well, I didn't get any restraining orders, so I think it's all right. Did you say, did I get close to her? Yeah, she gave me a hug.
No, I said you proposed to her.
Oh, no, well, her husband was right there.
Ooh, yeah, don't do that in front of the husband.
Actually, you know what? I think I texted Worry. I sent him a picture of it. And what did you say, Worry? You made a comment back.
I don't remember that. You sent me a picture? You sent me
a picture from the Video Game Awards of her and I. And you were like, I'd beat the hell out of Blair Herter just to,
I said that?
get next to her.
I think Worry probably could beat him.
Yes, you did.
But you know what? At this point, Blair's
Oh
probably.
yeah,
used to it.
definitely. Oh
Okay.
yeah.
I said at this point, Blair's got to be used to that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has to be. He has to be at that point.
So what would you do if you were Nintendo?
Worry. I agree with you. Launch a Metro Prime. And what about that Legend? What about the Zelda game that they showed us?
Well, they're holding that back. It's probably going to be on the Wii U and the next console. I think it's going to be a launch title for the next console, and it's going to be sort of like they did that again with the other Legend of Zelda title.
Yeah,
that came out
with Twilight Princess from
Right.
GameCube to the Wii.
Right.
But
It's actually coming out again on the Wii U.
Is it supposed to release this year? Isn't it?
It is.
On the Wii
It
U?
is.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, the dev kits are out. Yeah, they're gonna release it. So.
Yep.
Well, Enrique, it's kind of like I was saying last week. You can kind of see like little examples of maybe they're finally kind of getting it. You know, when you think about what they're saying about the NX, if we are to believe, like it has industry-leading chips and things like that.
Yeah, that's kind of vague. We have industry-leading chips.
It's very
what kind of
vague.
chips? Potato chips?
Right.
Corn chips.
Right. We have industry-leading chips. I mean, that's great, but the chips in the industry changes every 6 months.
Right.
Yeah, they change fast. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get the thing out.
Yeah. But my question is, which segment of the gaming audience is the NX going to speak to? I mean, we know they have their core. We know we have your dedicated, Nintendo fans. But outside of those folk, are they going to be able to pull the PlayStation, Xbox gamers?
You know, that's a good question because right now there's 2 consoles, right? So you have PlayStation that's number 1, Xbox is number 2. You know, if the next Nintendo console comes in, I don't know. What does that do for, somebody's got to be number 3, right?
Yeah.
So that could screw up, Microsoft's position. It could screw up Sony's position. It could screw up Nintendo's position. They can come in and just flop. So who knows?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never seen a console launch in the middle of a generation. So
yeah, this is kind of a first, right, Worry? They got to come in with a stronger console. I think that's the only way they're going to do it. That's the only way I think they're going to garner a lot of third-party support. They got to come with the bigger than what Sony and Microsoft have right now. I don't see it working any other way if they don't do that.
Yeah.
And I don't know. And I'm a little worried, guys. God, I can't pronounce his last name. Kimishima. I'm terrible at pronouncing Japanese names, by the way. If you can't tell.
You're right there, Kimishima.
Kimishima's. He's supposedly saying all the right things. But then it's like I'm a little worried when I hear stuff. They want to surprise fans with new ideas, not build on old ones. They want to make something unique and different. They want to move away from the Wii platforms.
Good.
They want to make something that will appeal to their consumer base. And that part scares me a little when they say, we want to make something that will appeal to our consumer base.
Why does that scare you?
Well, because I feel like maybe they're kind of trapped again, or maybe they're just going to kind of march to the beat of their own drum because they're just making games for their fans, which is fine. That's fine. But I'd like to see them personally. My personal opinion on all this is obviously I want to see them come back and really, I guess, be a little more competitive in the console landscape. And I'm excited because I feel like now they can kind of strike with an iron tide here. They can come in mid-generation and release something that's more powerful than the competition and maybe garner some more third-party support to tie in with that great first-party stuff they have.
Yeah, but I mean, do you really think people are going to, like, for instance, let's say the next, whatever the next big game, what's a big game coming out, like, by the end of the year that's multi-plat? Just throw one out there.
Call of Duty, obviously. They'd have to get Call of Duty on board.
Let's say Call of Duty's coming out. You know it's coming out on the PlayStation. You know it's coming out on the Xbox. And now it's coming out on the new Nintendo system. Are people going to switch just to get it, say, at... Let's say, on the PlayStation it's 1080p 30 frames per second. On the Xbox it's 900p whatever 30 something frames a second. And on the NX it's 1080p 60 completely locked. Is that enough to make people switch?
I don't
think it is.
No,
they'd have to sweeten the pot. They'd have to sweeten the pot.
Yeah.
Right. I think
they're going to have to. They're going to,
their first party's going to be great.
Yep.
But is that enough?
And
See,
again, how are the gaming
Exactly.
features? You know, that online gaming community. How is that going to compare to PlayStation
Exactly.
and Xbox?
There's so many ideas that they're just not using. Like for
And
instance,
another
imagine
thing
you
is,
give
do they
Go ahead.
do they charge for their online?
Well, they're going to have to. Why not?
Yeah,
Everybody else does.
Yeah,
I
Is
see
there
it. Yeah.
Well, unless they do it, for free to try to attract gamers early on.
Well, I mean, well, yeah, that's what I say. If, like, say, since they're coming out mid-generation, they say, you know what, our online is free. So that would entice some people.
It would.
And especially like parents of younger kids.
That absolutely would. That could be something that's going to happen.
They'd have to show. Yeah, they'd have to show that their network is reliable and enough to withstand multi-million users. So one thing that, like I said, entice to say, hey, ours is free. Come play on Nintendo where everything is free.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And can you imagine when you get an achievement? It's the one up sound when you get the mushroom in Mario.
Oh,
like little things like that. Like,
that would be amazing.
Yeah, that would be great. Right? There's so many things they could do that they're just not doing, and I don't understand it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's the thing with Nintendo, though, is I don't think they necessarily care about directly competing.
No.
But I think if they get on par with a lot of features and services that Xbox and PlayStation already have, while also keeping command of the family, the youth,
their uniqueness.
Their uniqueness, exactly. So if they take those properties, because their properties are on level with Disney, like Warner Brothers and everything else, as opposed to, and this isn't a knock, of course, on PlayStation or Xbox, but their IP is definitely more recognizable across the world.
Everyone knows Mario.
Oh,
exactly.
Of course.
Right.
But they gotta take those IPs to the next level and figure out a way to not just, because I think something that's like kind of being tagged on them lately is it's the same thing. Like, how many times are you going to do like 3D World, or how many times are you going to do the side?
But you know what? Every time I hear that, I always ask people that say that, how many times are you going to play Madden? How many times are you going to buy Call of Duty? How many times are you going to play a first-person shooter where you're holding a gun, you're moving through a linear hallway, you're shooting enemies, and then you're done? It's the same thing everywhere. But there's a certain level of creativity in that Nintendo does that other people don't do. That's their hook. That's what they could use to differentiate the next console from everybody else. But you still, like you said, you still have to have just the basic stuff that people expect.
Well, there's features that people are just accustomed to. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what, guys, that makes
and there has to be a party chat.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I was saying, South. They have to get the things that we're used to having on par. Can you imagine like getting those things onto their console with what they do the best?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't agree with
it's a potential game changer.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Could you imagine?
To do some. Yeah, go ahead.
Could you imagine an open world as Mario? I mean, I just think there are, with the IP that they have, they could do things differently and not just give us the same type of games. Everybody, like you say, everybody recognizes Mario. Non-gamers know who Mario is.
Right.
But could they introduce some type of open world type game where you're playing as Mario in first person? Mm-hmm. I think it's just so much Nintendo could do with their IP.
And you have to understand like where they're coming from too. Like Nintendo's they're very much about protecting the sanctity of family.
Right.
And protecting kids. That's why they're very cautious about opening up the world to like chat, because their playground is, for lack of a better word.
Yeah, I think Nintendo is synonymous with family.
Right.
Yeah.
So they want to be careful of that. They want to kind of protect that, but you have to also be careful not to police it too much, because you turn people off.
Well, yeah, there'll be strong parental controls in place, obviously.
Right.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you guys. So do you guys think that Nintendo, then, you guys talk about family, so would you guys say that Nintendo is kind of like, aside from the hardcore gamers that own Nintendo consoles, would you say because they're kind of like the family system that they most of their fan base is kids then that are playing these games?
I don't think so. I think that's the popular thing that people say, but I think a lot of people, even people our age, aren't against a Nintendo game, aren't against the Nintendo platform. But the problem is, and we keep talking about it, is that that aspect of Nintendo everyone loves, but then you want to turn the page and do something that you're used to doing on the other platforms, and you can't do that on a Nintendo platform. You have to go somewhere else. And I think that people are looking for that experience. You know, that they want the social experience, they want the online experience, they want the achievements, they want the party chat, they want the third-party games, and then they want those Nintendo games as well. I don't think anybody's going to turn down playing a platformer made by Nintendo.
Sure.
You know, if you can then also turn around and play Witcher 3 on the same system.
Yeah,
exactly. No, that's very true.
Good point.
Yeah, I only bring up the family thing because I always think about how, you know, obviously there's different generations of gamers coming up now, and you know, we talked about this last week, guys. How, you know, one thing that Nintendo's really done well with is the handheld market, and they're killing in Japan that market. I mean, obviously, the Japanese really don't game on game consoles as much as they used to. They are primarily
mobile.
Yeah, gaming mobile now. And
mobile, yeah. Well, they own that space.
Yeah, yeah, they do. And so I always wonder with Nintendo. I mean, you know, are they potentially maybe losing out on future gamers? And I'm thinking future gamers like the kids that are gaming now. And these kids are experiencing, you know, different gaming experiences. They're using their iPods or iPads to game, but they're also using their iPads to watch movies. You know, and so maybe that expectation is there for these devices to do all these different things. And that's why I kind of bring up the question of you know, are kids gaming more on Nintendo, and does Nintendo run a risk if they don't evolve, losing some of the young gamers they had as they grow older?
Well, you know, the consoles right now, they're not mobile. You know, you play your games at home, and when you're not at home, you can't take them with you. So there's a rumor about Nintendo launching the console and a handheld that connects,
yes,
and that you can actually have the power of the console in the palm of your hand wherever you are to continue that experience. Now, that would tap into that mobile audience because, you know, nobody's playing Mario, Metroid, Pikmin, Zelda on a tablet. They're just not. So if they could get their IPs that, you know, are tied to the television and then untied when you leave, that's big.
Oh, that would be huge.
Yeah, because, you know, I don't know anybody.
That'd be huge on any system.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah. And no one's really done that yet, and they would be the first to do it, and that would be, I think, they would give them a leg up in that regard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, it's the proverbial, you know, carrot from the stick. You know what I mean? Like, it definitely, you know, the more things you can do to say, hey, this is, you know, we're doing this first. You can't do this anywhere else but here. You know, obviously you got to raise some eyebrows. You got to do something to, you know, get the. You're always gonna have people that remember Nintendo and the nostalgic people and the young kids, but you got to get in, you know, in between.
Right.
You gotta get them to take the second look.
Yeah. No, I agree. What do you guys think about the other features? I mean, does this console have to have? I know we talked about online. Does the console have to have, you know, the ability to rent, stream movies, those kinds of things, those features, other entertainment features?
Sure, it does.
Yes.
Of course. Those are all standard on every console. I mean, they have to. That's like the basic minimum.
I'll tell you something else that they're going to probably do. They're probably going to launch it standard with 1 terabyte hard drive. That would be big.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they want you to buy all their backlog.
Right.
Yeah.
And they have more storage out of the box than anybody else.
There you go.
They've got a lot of backlog.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, back compat is big, right? People love backwards compatibility, so why not Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah. Exactly.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. So
I can see them doing that, though. I mean, the Wii U was backwards compatibility. You know, backwards
with the Wii,
compatible.
Yeah,
It was with the Wii.
Yeah, I'd really be surprised if they didn't do backwards compatible for this new console. Yeah. What I don't know, guys, are they going to have an E3 conference this year? Are they actually going to be there?
I hope so. I hope so.
I don't know.
I really hope they are.
Well, you would think they would, since they're coming out with a new console. They'd have to.
You would think. But yeah, I don't know. I hope they are too. I kind of miss having them at E3. Yeah. But it wouldn't make sense that they make that announcement there. the new console. So.
Well, what's the rumored window of release? Does anybody know?
It's this year. I would imagine it would have to be sometime, in the middle of the year, at the 6-month mark. It can't be towards the end. I mean, I can't see it being towards the end of the year. But it might be. It might be right around Christmas time, which would be
you don't think it'd be holidays? Yeah, it'd have to be a holiday, obviously. So that's where all that.
I mean, it might be. Yeah, it could be.
I would guess holidays too. Yeah. Hey, did Nintendo do VR, guys?
What was that?
Didn't Nintendo try VR 20 years ago?
If that's what you want to call it.
Oh, the virtual boy. Yeah, that was a handheld.
Power glove.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, the Power Glove.
Well, that was more like almost like it was just a controller. It was terrible. But the Virtual Boy was the one. It was red, and you had to sit on a table, and you had to put your face in it, and it just gave everyone headaches to the point where they actually just had to stop making them.
Yeah, I barely remember that. Wow. Yeah, I just remember the glove that South was talking about, and that little mat that you used to run on.
Yeah, the power mat, the Olympic Games.
Yeah, the power mat. Yeah.
The Olympic game. Oh God, I hated that.
You.
I'm looking at it right now.
Hey, I'm a fat guy, you know what I mean? So exercise and shit was definitely not my thing, you know what I mean? I definitely didn't want to run in place for 3 hours.
South was like, F that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
So, well, guys, as we talk about Nintendo in their next console, I kind of want to, segue into another topic. And, where I know we've talked about gaming consoles or game-only consoles and where the console generation or future consoles are going. I think, I don't know, Eric and Mamacita, did we talk about this in the last podcast, or was it like when we were offline and still talking?
I think that was when we were offline.
So it was the unaired podcast then.
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think we were talking for like another hour and a half. I think it was.
Sure did. We did an offline podcast.
Pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
It happens a lot with Enrique.
Does it?
I've done several offline, doozies.
We've only done 2 podcasts together, Sal. They've been short, I think. No?
Actually, we've done more than that. No, we've done more than that. On that, Next Level, we did several.
Yeah, you're right, we did. Yeah. My favorite story, I've done a couple with Worry. My favorite story was him passing out.
Yeah, I fell asleep during one of them.
In his robe.
In my Jedi robe.
His Jedi robe.
Yeah, remember that night? Oh, yeah.
You fell asleep?
Remember, it was like, are we almost done with this? Come on, Mike, are we done? It was like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, it was long, man. Jeez.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow. Okay, well, I don't feel so bad with what happened to me tonight, though. During my podcast, I tweeted out the incorrect link. I tweeted out the link to actually join the podcast instead of watching it.
Oh, boy.
And so
Nice.
so live on air.
People are just joining?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Oh, beautiful.
And then they started
Special
talking.
guests.
Yes, we had like 6 special guests right after another.
Were they all PlayStation fanatics coming in?
How awkward is that?
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah. Well, shout out to Mike for from Next Level Gaming for tweeting me and saying, you need to delete that link. Delete that link. And I was like, oh my gosh, no, I did not.
Jeez.
I may have joined that link, actually, because I heard you guys saying my mic sounds nice, check 1.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, you had to taking it back. I remember that song.
Oh my god. Oh
check
yeah.
1, check 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
so
was quite a night.
yeah, it was. But that, you know what? I was trying to catch the podcast what you guys were doing live, and I have to go back and check it out later on.
Yeah.
Can't get interrupted by the wife. Ooh, I better whisper before I say that.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. we talked about that last time, Mamacita, how the wife is.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. So, well, guys, so So the future of gaming, something that we talked about last week, where I know we talked about a little bit, you know, and I think we've seen these game consoles evolve from more than just being game consoles. You know, if you're old head gamers like some of us here that grew up playing on cartridges and using remote controls that look like, you know, phones, things have definitely evolved, and they really evolved. And Eric, we talked about this last week when we were talking about VR.
Mm-hmm.
I think obviously things changed once the internet came into play and consoles got connected to the internet. To me, that's when everything changed. And so, I don't know. Do you guys think that gamers still only want a game console first?
Yes, I do. And I think that some of the how do I say this? I think the way that the market's been flowing this generation, people want to feel like gamers first, and then have everything else follow second. Even though people use these machines to do other things, and they do use features, and then they do use Netflix, and they do use Twitch. You know, the message has to, everything has to, you know, if you're going to plant the tree, you have to plant it with the seed of gaming first, and then let other stuff grow out of that. You can't just start with, you know, the fruit before the tree.
Yeah. Well, do you think...
that was a good analogy. I like that.
Yeah, no, it is. And Eric, you want to chime in, Max? I know we talked about this too.
Mm-hmm.
Do you agree with what Worry's saying about, you know, the way you position or market the console as a game console first, or do you feel like there's a segment of younger gamers that say, because I know you talk about us being the old guard,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
you know, and so is the expectation different for the younger gamers than us?
I think in a way when you just kind of look at kids, when I just say looking at like my nephews and things like that, they don't tend to necessarily care about where they game, just as long as they can game. Like you hand them, you know, like I watch them playing like Minecraft, and they all sit around with a cell phone or a tablet. As long as they can play and play together, they're good, you know. But it doesn't mean that they don't care about playing on a console. But I don't think it's necessarily, you got to figure out a way to connect and get both of those worlds. And that's where I think, you know, when you look at Microsoft and what they're trying to do, it's like I think they're kind of seeing where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is at the moment.
Yeah.
You know, and
I think that Xbox, everybody kind of learned from that lesson when they tried to do that with their launch of the Xbox One, how they try to show all the, you know, TV and multimedia and all that stuff first.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well,
no,
but you have to ease, because the old guard is still the majority. You have to ease everyone into it. You can't just throw the door open and be like, "This is how it is. Let's go."
Mm-hmm.
You know, because it's like, "Fuck you, we're not going."
Right.
Yeah, yeah. But we talked about that during our offline podcast, and you know, my take on that, I feel like Nintendo is in a sticky situation, and if I had to use my family as an example, you know, the preteens or the kids, you know, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12-year-olds, their first choice of gaming is not a console. I don't see that. Their gaming system is their tablets, their Kindle Fires. I'm actually going to have a conversation with some of them because I want to understand. You have an Xbox, a PlayStation in your home, and every time I come here, you're on your Kindle Fire or you're on your phone gaming, and I never see you on the systems. And so while the old guard is still there, the future of gaming, you know, these kids, if console isn't their first choice, it's their last choice, or it isn't even an option at all. You know, I think the companies have to say, you know, what do we do? How do we position ourselves? And I think it puts them almost in a catch-22. You want to please the old guard. You want to please the, you know, the diehards and the true console gamers. But then at some point, are they going to age out? And then who's going to replace them?
Yeah. So you have to be almost everywhere.
Well, right now, the old guard is where the money's at. That's who's spending the money.
Exactly, and you know, and I think you have like like a middle ground. Like I said, some of the kids who were coming up when 360 first launched, and they may have been 5 to 6 to 7. Well, not that young, but maybe 10 to 11 are now 20 somethings who are making their first console purchases. But the younger kids, if I could use like the console war as like a reference, they're not invested in that. They just kind of look at it like, can I play on it?
Yeah.
That's all I care. That's all I care about.
But you know what happens though is they're playing on these tablets, they're playing these games, and they're really young. But once they get to the point a little older, and they're still gaming, and they realize that there's this other world that's going to give them these larger experiences that a tablet can't. That's when they choose a console.
Right.
And the console that they're going to choose is the one that's going to speak to them as being a video gamer first. And all this other stuff they'll discover along the way as they use it. But and again, they both do the same thing. I'm not saying that one's. It's all messaging. It's all perception. You have to realize what the audience is, who they are, and you have to say the right things at the right time, and you have to speak to the audience.
Right, and that's why I say I don't think the console as we know it is going anywhere. Because again, you look at like the younger crew, like I said, they'll play on anything that you put in front of them.
Right.
And if you say, okay, well, right now, hey, we're watching TV with the family, they're off in the corner playing their tablet. But when you say, hey, come over here, let's play XYZ on whatever console, they're like, hey, I'm down. Because, like my nephew comes over, he plays on the Wii U, he plays on the PS4, he plays on the Xbox One. It just happens, whatever flavor he's feeling that day, he says, hey, let's play this. And, we're off to the races.
And don't think that the Xboxes and the PlayStations and Nintendos are not worried about Apple coming out with their own gaming system.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that right now, because as much games that are on their iPads and iPhones and iPods and how popular they are, if they came out with some kind of console that you could play on your TV, that would be a huge thing. And you know what? They should be worried about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
You guys think Apple's going to drop some kind of console then?
I don't know. I don't think so. I think there's a reason why they're not in the video game industry. I think that they realize that the audience is just so different, and they just like for instance, the audience, they consume media digitally everywhere, but when it comes to games, they just resist it. So for Apple, it's kind of like where they're looking at a market that isn't really forward thinking. How are they going to move into the console space when they're already?
When it comes to Apple, it's all tied to your account. So I mean, whether you go straight from your iPad to the console at home to your TV, and it going back when we were talking about Nintendo, if you can have that option to say, you know what, I'm out in the car, driving with my mom, and I'm playing this game. Well, as soon as I get home, I could just start exactly where I left off on the big screen TV.
Exactly, and I think they are already introducing that with Apple TV. If you look at the last Apple TV that was announced, they're already introducing their games on TV, and they even have, I believe there was some type of controller that they released. So just think about, when we talked about these kids that are gaming now, well, they're going to want to game at some point. But if Apple positions themselves, those kids that are gaming on iPads and tablets and phones, and then when they go home, they can pick up a controller, and they don't care about pixels, and they don't care. If they grow up in that mindset, not caring, then hey, I mean, I think they could disturb the market. They could.
You know what?
Yeah, maybe that's Apple dipping their toe into the water.
They'll destroy the market if they get an app store that has actual third-party devs in it. You're getting Call of Duty, you're getting Tomb Raider, you're getting all these third-party games in their app store on their console. With the controller, that's when they're going to destroy it. But I don't think that that's going to happen anytime soon. It's not going to be like a Steam type service. Anytime soon.
Because they'd have a lot of cleaning up to do, like in that app store, like for people to find anything of value.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
well, Mamacita, you bring up a good point. The experience, the expectation. I think you said something to the effect that, if they're not gaming, the expectation isn't graphics or pixels. Then they may not gravitate to those games that provide those kinds of, that visual wow factor. I mean, growing up, we all gamed. I mean, I remember growing up, it was always about graphics, right? going from the Atari, going from the NES to the Sega Master System, we would always talk about graphics. And I don't know. Maybe if they don't have that experience, maybe they don't care enough to want to have that experience.
Well, I think they will once they get older. They're starting out young on mobile. And if they continue to be gamers, eventually they're going to hit 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and then they're going to say, well, I could play Candy Crush or I could go play Halo 5, you know? So the consoles are always going to give you a better gaming experience than a mobile device right now. Now, 30 years from now, you might have a phone that has 8 gigs of RAM in it to run console quality games. Now, you're still always going to have that problem with the control interface on mobile.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. You take your games on, your mobile device. Absolutely.
That's what Nintendo might be looking at with a new console.
Yeah, which would be brilliant for them again, because that's playing to the strength of the mobile space. And then combining that with a game console, that'd be great.
But what do you say? There are already developers and publishers that are already supporting the iPad, iPhone. I mentioned a few podcasts ago, Guitar Hero Live, Skylanders.
Well, that's on Apple TV, right? It's not on the iPad, right? But I mean, you can't get that control interface, though. You have to use that Apple TV remote control. You can use a controller, you can link a controller, but they don't have, the wealth of third party the console has. If they had all that, then, if they had, like, for instance, if I turn on the Apple TV and I can go to the store, just like the PlayStation Store or the Xbox Store, and every third-party game's there, and I can download it for the same price and just sync a controller. I can sync, say, the Xbox Elite controller. That's huge. But I just don't see that happening anytime soon. Yeah. Now, Apple might be working on it. Who knows? They certainly have the money to do it.
Yeah,
it was just weird to see.
They can afford to take a loss, even if it's just a gamble. That's a gamble they can afford to take.
Yeah, yeah, they can. So what do you guys think? I mean, so who do you think is better positioning themselves for the future then, guys? If you're looking at what Microsoft's doing, what Sony's doing right now.
It depends on what kind of future you're talking about. I mean, you're talking about console-only future?
I'm saying, let's say console-only future.
Go ahead.
No, I'm asking you guys.
Yeah, who? There's 3 people here.
Well, anyone can jump in.
Yeah, so you're asking who do we think is positioned the best for the future?
For console only.
I mean, right now, for console only, right now, PlayStation has the brightest future right now. It may very well change in 2-3 years, but right now, I mean, you have to say Sony.
Right. Yeah,
because they are the console's version of the iPod or the iPad or iPhone, whatever.
Yeah, they're the PS2 all over again.
Yeah, PS2 all over again. Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, because it's interesting watching watching Microsoft and Sony. I think they're kind of heading in almost.
They're not kind of heading. They're completely going out different directions.
Yeah, they're going different directions. You're right. Yeah, where I think we have Microsoft that's focusing on this. This what is it called?
Ecosystem,
right
Windows 10 ecosystem.
Yeah. Boom. Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely with Windows. They're trying to put it all together.
Yeah, I think there's definitely a shift in the console as we know it. I think there'll always be some kind of set-top box. It may not be what we're used to. Because I think as these companies go forward, they're definitely thinking about a way to kind of shutter the cost of building hardware and kind of getting it into a place of where it's already on things that you already own. Like Enrique, we were saying last week, you look at what Sony's doing, like with PlayStation Now, it's sort of like they're trying to get it into like smart TVs, tablets, things like that you already may have in your home without maybe having to build a console, and then you kind of look at what Microsoft is doing, kind of moving more into integrating and doing like cross-play.
I don't know. I think for the foreseeable future, you have to have a console.
Definitely for the foreseeable future. No, definitely for the foreseeable future.
I mean,
where they're going. It's hard to say.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking, 20 years down the road,
Right.
but I mean, for the next, 10 years from now, there definitely has to be, like you said, a set-top box, a beautiful controller like the Elite. I mean, don't get me wrong, people love the DualShock controller. Me personally, I prefer the Xbox controller, and the Elite is
I do too.
hands
Absolutely.
down the
Elite's
best controller I've ever
period.
used.
Right. Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Right. So there definitely has to be a set-top box. Well, there won't be a physical, a disc tray. Some people say no, it's going to be all digital. I tend to think that you have to have a disc. People love having a disc in their hand. They love to feel like, we talked about this the other night, Worry. People like to feel like they own something.
Yeah, but you know what? Those same people then put the disc on the shelf and grab their iPod and go outside. Those same people put the disc on the shelf and turn the iPad on and watch their movies.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm saying, where this audience, just this one audience in the console space.
How do you change the mind state? Well, how do you change the mind state?
You don't until it's just cool to be digital. And that's when people, will switch. For some reason, this one medium of entertainment, video games, people resist digital. But every other medium, music, movies, anything, they're fine with digital.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's crazy is at the start of this generation, I was kind of in that place where I was kind of like, I still wanted physical, but all of a sudden, like immediately, like, I don't know, the minute I started going more digital, it just went naturally.
Right.
Yeah.
And I like the idea of just having all my games in one place. Right. I don't have to keep up with discs. I don't have to go into a store. I don't have to, I don't know. I mean, it's just...
You don't have to make room on your shelf. You don't have to have, like, this big-ass, like, I mean, people have shrines to their their collection and shit.
Right.
Bookcases.
Oh, really? Like, look at this. Bookcases. I mean, with digital, you don't have to worry about that. You just got to have a big hard drive.
Yeah. Do you guys think that's like a symptom of like getting older and your interests kind of change?
No, you know what's interesting is that I thought that the people that would be resisting digital are older people, but the older people that I know are all moving to digital. It's these younger people who feel like they're part of this elite group of quote-unquote gamer that have these collections, that show pictures of their shelves. It's strange. You would think that the younger people would be moving to digital.
Yeah.
But it's kind of funny when you say it like that, because I think in my 20s I had like this huge DVD collection, like before like Blu-ray started, and I was like so proud of it. Like, check out my bookshelves full of DVDs of movies I would probably watch once and never touch again. And then eventually I was like, I gotta get rid of all this shit.
Right.
This is not sexy.
Not sexy.
Yeah, it was good in the late 90s, though. It was like,
yeah, it was like, hey, girl, look at my impressive collection of, whatever.
Plus, I think once the bandwidth is there, I mean, you can't beat a Blu-ray disc for quality and picture.
Right.
No, you can't.
So there's stuff like that too that holds back digital. And I wish that when you bought movies digitally, they actually downloaded the information to your hard drive instead of just every time you want to watch it, they stream.
Yeah.
That's something else that's holding it back because, the information still isn't there. Like when you buy a game, the information is downloaded to your hard drive. When you buy a movie, it's not. It's just a key that lets you unlock the stream to the movie that you own, and you still need good internet to keep that stream at a high enough bit rate to get a decent picture, which still isn't as good as a disc Blu-ray.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas games, it doesn't matter. The quality's still there. When you just download the game, it's 1080p, it's whatever it's meant to be. It's there on your hard drive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we kind of know, like Phil has already said that there'll definitely be a next version of the Xbox, right?
Right.
And we pretty much know there'll probably be another version of the PlayStation. You think there'll be another one after that? And if,
Oh, obviously.
Yeah.
There'll definitely be another PlayStation, but I don't think it'll be for a while because they're just making a ridiculous. They're selling
making money right
consoles now.
Yeah, they're pretty money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting.
So it may be at least two more iterations, at least.
I don't think there'll be two more. I think there'll be one more.
One more.
Yeah, I think there'll be one more Xbox,
I think
one more
one more.
PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it would be time for
Yeah,
some,
because
maybe like an Apple TV
you're
device.
looking about 10 years. Yeah, right.
Do you think like a set-top box set in like 10 years?
Yeah, a small little box like Apple TV.
Yeah,
You know?
I could see that. And then all digital. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting because it seems the PC gamers most of the PC games are all digital now. With Steam and everything.
They all are.
And they've embraced that.
They all are.
And
They all are.
Gaming consoles are it's just interesting how the console gamers are kind of like, we're not going to do that. We're not ready yet.
It's funny you mention that though, because when you come to PC and how like they've embraced certain things that console gamers just flat out refuse. I wonder why.
Yeah. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe it's the community thing where we're different than everybody else, even though everybody else is consuming media and we're consuming media, but we're different because we're gamers and they're just technophiles who like movies and gadgets. I don't know. It's strange. It really is.
No, it is strange. It really is. Yeah. And I did start off digital in the beginning of this console generation, but actually I've gone back to physical only because of the deals that I get on physical. You can get I think today Amazon was advertising Rainbow Six Siege for $35, the physical disc.
How does the developer feel about that?
That's a good deal.
Yeah.
That's why they're doing it,
Yeah. But
does it really matter because they're still paying their prices, Amazon's basically taking a loss to sell it by volume.
Yeah, but they count on you coming back and trading it in and getting a better deal on the next game, and then they sell that game for a profit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like GameStop.
Oh, don't even get me started.
Welcome to GameStop's business model.
Yep.
Oh, I walked into GameStop like 2 months ago, and the guy was heckling me about buying digital.
Of course he was. Well, why wouldn't he? He works for GameStop.
Yeah.
He wants you to buy it for $50 and come back and get a
every time
nickel.
I walk into a GameStop, I feel like a used whore.
What? A used?
That's kind of an oxymoron.
Yeah, I'm trying to process that.
Right. That's kind of that's usually how it goes when you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Used up whore. How about that? Is that better?
Used up. Okay, hold on.
There you go. Oh, wow. There you
go. A retired whore. How about that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that better? You pick it up when I'm putting down?
I'm not picking up anything you're putting down, man. I'm afraid of it.
Not without gloves.
Not without gloves, right?
Not without gloves. Not without a hazmat suit. Man.
Oh my goodness. That's hilarious. That is hilarious. Hey guys, should we talk about MPD?
No, but I mean seriously, like they really. Oh, okay. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Talk about what?
No, I was gonna say, should we talk about MPD?
MPDs.
What do you want to talk about?
No, I was joking. I don't want to say that.
Yeah.
I will say, Worry.
As long as you break out your calculator.
Yeah, calculate console sold. Worry. I did like your tweets the other day.
What was that?
About you were tweeting.
Where you were on there bringing balance to the force, man.
Yeah.
What did
I
I say?
didn't see them.
You were talking about people just people should just focus on talking about games that are coming out and not shitting on another console and make another console look better.
Well, you devalue. You can't.
Yes, there you go.
If you have to devalue something in order to find value in the thing that you have, then you don't see much value in what you have. It makes no sense. I mean, if I want news on the Xbox, talk about the friggin' Xbox.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like I want to hear about the Xbox, but I hear more about the PlayStation than I do the Xbox. I mean, I want to hear about the PlayStation. There's places I go. Want to hear about the Xbox? There's places I go. I don't want to hear about anything else. It just doesn't make any sense. Apart from, I get it. People have an opinion. They want to have their opinions. They want to have strong opinions. That's fine.
You know
but
what?
We're 3 years in now.
But that's crazy. No, that's crazy because like you talking about Tim Dog and his timeline. Like people are attacking him, worrying about like the Xbox, more than they're worried about what's going on with PlayStation. And it's like, what's the point?
Well, it's a game. It becomes a game. People, there's one side, and then the other side has to do it, and then they have to go back and forth. It's like playing tennis. The ball keeps going back and forth, and back and forth.
Well, I get it. I get championing, what you choose and what your flavor and everything. I get that. You know, I mean, we root for our consoles. Like, I don't know, I root for the Xbox. Like, if it was, you know, like my Dodgers. You know what I mean? I get that. Everybody's entitled to their opinion and everything. But PlayStation fans, well, fuck you. I hate you. You know what I mean? Hey, whatever. I got a PlayStation too, so you know that's fine. But I'm not going to sit here and worry about what's going on with PlayStation before I'm worrying about what's going on with Xbox. That's just, to me.
Well, yeah, I mean, but
you
you know, I see it. You know, a lot of people ask me, you know, well, I get it all the time. You talk to this person, why do you talk to this person? You talk to that person, why do you talk to that person? But everybody that asks me that, if somebody from the Xbox side says, don't talk to that guy, he's a pony. Well, when I go to the page of the person that's telling me not to talk to this guy because he's a pony, I look at their page, and 10 tweets down, it's all console wars. And if vice versa, if somebody from PlayStation says you're talking to that guy, he's an Xbox. Well, when I go to your page, 10 tweets down, it's all negative Xbox stuff. So I just talk to everyone, and I don't care about this nonsense. I just don't care about it.
Yeah. I get along with everybody. I love everybody. Xbox, ponies, all the same. I love everybody.
Pony. Sony, pony.
Yeah, really. And no hazmat suit required.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
That's too funny.
Sometimes I get this feeling. Let's go. Are we still talking about games and consoles? Because it seems like
we're not. It's I don't know. I just I have so many other things going on in my life. When I want to play video games, I want to play video games. You want to talk about video games? Let's talk about video games.
Exactly, because I'm like, we are talking about consumer electronics.
Yes, right? Yes. Right. And have we forgotten the reason that we purchased these consumer devices? It's our downtime. It's our hobby. It's our stress relievers. So I just choose not to engage in the craziness, and I'm kind of with you, Worry, in that I can deal with folk on either side, if we're going to say there's a side, even up to a point. Some folk
there's sides. They're definitely both sides.
Yeah. I've had to use that block button a few times. I've just had to because of certain things, but I can engage in conversation as long as we are having an open discussion, and I can disagree with you, and we can still respect one another. I follow loads of people that I don't agree with their ideas. I follow atheists, and I believe in God. I personally do, but I follow, engage, and talk with atheists all the time. So I just think that we have to. It's okay to, engage in conversations with someone that may have opinions that are different than ours, but I think we can all agree to just have a mutual respect for.
You know what you just said? That. What you just said boils down to what's going on in the community now. People use the word community. I'm in the community, but a community is a group of all different types of people with all different types of ideas. Now, the communities that you're seeing on Twitter that focus around these consoles, they're not communities, they're cults. They're a group of people that all think the same thing, and you have to drink the same Kool-Aid and argue with the other people who are drinking the different flavored Kool-Aid. That's not a community, it's a cult.
Yeah.
Community is what we're doing.
I don't know. I don't quite agree with that. I mean, there is a very large part of the community that does love the console wars and loves to argue and
that, but that's not a community.
And everything else.
That's not a community. A community. I'll give you a perfect example.
But I wouldn't go so far to say cult.
Well, the definition of a cult is a group of people who have no concept of anyone else's ideas, won't listen to them, ignore them, and make fun of them. And to me, that's what's going on. Now, there's people in Xbox community, in PlayStation community that don't do that. They're a community, and then there's other people that do it. I don't see that as a community. That's not a welcoming community. That's just my opinion.
I think what you're getting at is like what I kind of noticed. It seems like it becomes pack mentality.
That's a cult, right?
Get them.
Like, get everybody else who thinks differently.
Right, and I
think defend your point of view because it's the right point of view, even though somebody else's point of view could be 1,000% valid, but you're not open to even hearing it because you're part of this tight-knit group.
That's what I think. there's nothing wrong like with having an allegiance to what you love.
Preference is fine.
Preference is fine.
Right.
But at the heart of it, you're a gamer, so you should understand how gaming works. There's enough flavor for everyone. There's enough difference for everyone. There doesn't have to be a mirror image, and you don't have to pick a side.
Right.
If you choose to play on everything, then that's fine.
But you can pick a side. You can say I have a preference, and this is what I like.
Oh no, absolutely.
Right. Yeah. But the thing is, you can't just say, well, if people aren't buying what I want them to buy, then all of those people are stupid.
Exactly.
Yes. Why does that bother you, or why do we take that, personal? There's an attack against my own individuality if someone else chooses to purchase an Xbox.
Listen, I don't get why people are going out and buying Justin Bieber albums. I don't get it. Right? But I'm not going online and going to Justin Bieber sites all day long and leaving comments in the comment section telling people why they're idiots. What's the point? Whose mind am I changing?
And I think that's what it is. It's like trying to change someone's mind. It's like you can't browbeat someone into liking what you like. And even if
but at the same time, when you have a certain following and people want to hear that from you, then you're just going to continue to do it. Yeah. If everybody just says, you know what, just stop the rhetoric.
Yeah.
But then that would be your choice then.
I mean, if they were shunned, obviously they'd be like, well, fuck, nobody wants to hear what I got to say, so I guess I better just shut my mouth. But no, as long as people have an appetite for it, and obviously it's all-you-can-eat buffet.
Yeah, I mean, look,
so
I'm not saying
why stop.
I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying that the people that do it are wrong or the people that don't do it are wrong. I'm saying personally, for me, that's the distinction I see. That's all.
I just think those people shouldn't be. It shouldn't be said that those folk, and we're talking about the extremists or the cult-like folk, we should say they represent the community, the PlayStation community or the Xbox community, and that's where I would say I think we have to ask ourselves. Some say, well, you're letting a particular segment of the community define the Xbox community or define the PlayStation community, and I challenge you on that. Yeah, we have some talking heads on Twitter and YouTubers and all that express things about their system of choice and attack the other systems, but do they represent the gaming community, the Xbox community, and the PlayStation community? I say no, they do not as a whole. They don't, and I think we give some of those folk too much. And what you do is what you do. And I've listened to some of the PlayStation guys. I've listened to some of the Xbox guys. I've had tons of laughs listening to them, and some of them I can say they're entertaining and everything. And but I know how to eat the meat and spit out the bones. See, right. I know how to do that. Everyone doesn't, and I don't align.
Most people don't, though.
Yeah. And that's true. Most people don't, but I do say that they don't represent the Xbox or the PlayStation community. They have a mouthpiece, and some of them have really loud voices, and and they speak to some that really have feelings about how the companies, whether it's Microsoft or Sony, and people have passionate feelings about they feel like they've been used by them, or they feel like they're evil or whatever, and okay, but it just gets to a point where we have to say, look, we are all gamers, and I'm not trying to do the kumbaya stuff, but I'm just saying, okay, if we all are gamers.
I gotta get my lighter out. Hold on, let me light it
out. Just have fun. Just have fun with it. Game and enjoy what you do. And
if there's a prerequisite to be in a community, then it's not a community. If you have to think a certain way, and you have to say a certain way, and you have to toe the line, and everybody's against you, and you have to. I just don't care.
I know a lot of people in the Xbox community, and I don't. I'm not one of these guys that are just it's all Xbox 100%, and I can't look any other way. Everybody knows me as kind of being a level-headed guy. I don't get no lashback or negativity from people in the community to say, oh, well, Southbound, he's the Sony apologist, or he's a kiss ass or whatever. I don't know. I'm pretty even keeled, and nobody really says anything to me about it. So that's why I don't really get what you're saying. I mean, I get what you're saying, but I don't think about it that, oh, well, if you don't think this way, then, you're not part of our crew.
Right, but that's the way you think. But there are people out there that think that way. In terms of the console war. You know what I mean? There are people that think you have to be one way or the other, and if you're not, then, you're no good. But, I'm not saying you think that way, but I definitely think you realize there's people that think that way. I mean, it's all over the place when you go on Twitter. Yeah, unless I'm just not reading Twitter right.
Well, no, you see it on Twitter. You see it in the gaming forums too. I mean, you don't. It's not just social media. You go to the gaming forums, you see it there too.
Yeah.
You go to NeoGAF, you can see it.
Right. I mean, look at there's a perfect example of what I'm talking about. I mean, you recognize that there, correct?
Yeah, it gets vicious. There's no need for it to get vicious.
By far.
Right.
Yeah. Like South, for example. Like, I know, like, you bleed green. You're an Xbox guy, but I've seen you say, like, I don't hate PlayStation.
Oh, definitely.
Or Xbox. I respect it. We can go. Right. We can go. Hey, who's going to win the Super Bowl, and go back and forth and back and forth. But at the end of the day, there's a mutual respect. And I mean, across the board. And I think anybody from the Sony camp can respect you. They respect him. They respect guys who stay true to what they like. But at the same time, it's just about games. It's just about respect. And you can debate and go back and forth and have fun with it. But I think what Worry's talking about is the person that goes that next step, and then it's not about games anymore. It's about something weird. It's gone into a weird place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of that. There's a lot of that. Yeah,
you kind of go, wait, we're not talking about games anymore, are we?
Right.
Yeah. There's something missing in your life right now, bro. So.
Yeah. Well.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, we're gonna wrap up the podcast. It is 10:30. I was trying to keep this under 2 hours because I gotta get up at 5:30 in the morning, go to work, that fun stuff, being an adult. But hey, guys, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you guys again for joining me tonight. Appreciate it. Southbound, thanks for coming on the last second there.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it.
No, absolutely, man. You're welcome back anytime. And Eric, thank you again, man.
And I apologize for my loud mic.
Your phone.
We had Kylo Ren with us. Or Matt. But yeah, Eric, thanks again for
thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And Mamacita, thank you again for coming back this week. Appreciate it.
Of course.
My fellow Redskins fan. I love that you're a Redskins fan, by the way.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
Every other football team sucks, right? Yeah. Yeah.
No, not everybody. Just the Cowboys.
Oh, yeah. I guess.
Yes, I agree.
My dad's a Cowboys fan. I can't believe it.
How'd that happen?
I don't know. My dad's from South America, and he came to the U.S. and became a Cowboys fan. Don't ask me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. So.
Okay, but thank you, guys. I enjoyed the conversation. Thanks so much.
Yeah, and Worry, thanks for joining me again, man.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't see you fall asleep in a robe again.
I'm getting close.
That's why I'm trying to wrap up.
Oh my gosh.
But yeah,
thanks for having me. It was a pleasure talking to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Absolutely, anytime, man. So, all right, everyone. For those who are watching, thank you for watching again. I really appreciate it. Remember to give us a like, subscribe, and remember, everyone, to game on, and more importantly, have fun gaming. Thanks, guys.
No problem.
Peace.
Bye.